The latest Nintendo Direct covering all of Nintendo's plans for E3 2019 was probably one of the very best Nintendo Directs we have ever seen, period. I don't think we've ever seen a Direct as satisfying as this, covering the bases for every type of Nintendo fan there is. We got major Animal Crossing news, Luigi's Mansion is finally showcased to have a good looking sequel, Japanese and RPG fans were spoiled with all sorts of content, Smash fans got not one but two massive characters added to their roster, and a sequel was announced for one of the most game-changing masterpieces of this generation. And while we could technically be really nitpicky and say that a mainline Mario game was missing or we wanted more Metroid Prime stuff, at the end of the day, it'd be a waste of time. At least we know exactly what's going on with those series and seeing alternative content to fill the gap in the meantime. But there is always a but. This E3 has been one of the best for Nintendo and its fans, and I do try my best to not be too much of a Debbie Downer. I've made all sorts of analysis coverage on 3 of the major Nintendo announcements so far, but there is still that one series that's been left long behind. Of course, you know I'm talking about Pikmin 4. And we've now reached 1,620 days since the game was first directly mentioned by Shigeru Miyamoto, way back in January of 2015, 4 years ago already. Pikmin has always had a bit of a rough entry when it comes to being noticed. The first Pikmin game came out with some great reviews and quickly garnered a sequel with all sorts of corporate sponsorships. The fanbase for the 2 games were small but prominent. The Pikmin then hit the void, seemingly becoming another of Nintendo's few forgotten IPs. Olimar pushed out again back in 2008 as a representative in Smash, but it would still be a long wait for the next true Pikmin game. Eventually, finally, mainstream news burst open for Pikmin 3, a new HD title prepped and ready for the new Nintendo Wii U. It was shown off at Nintendo's E3 2012 conference, back when they still used to be on a stage, though it wasn't released until August of 2013. Up until that point, the only source of information and entertainment was from overanalyzing the occasional trailer, screenshot, or website update. Oddly enough, it was one of the best times. And when the game came out, fans rejoiced, finally, more content to consume, introducing all sorts of new mechanics like more captains, throwable this time, all sorts of new enemies and collectibles, co-op mission mode, and boss runs. And though it took more inspirations from the shorter arcade style of the first game, fans loved it. And then Pikmin hit the void again. There were those new animation shorts, the Pikmin short movies, to entertain fans for about half an hour and make a bajillion thumbnails out of if you're me. But after that, Miyamoto perked up on November 6th, 2014, talking about laying out the groundwork for the next iteration of Pikmin, hoping to help the Wii U sales. This supposed Wii U Pikmin game never came to be, though there is a good chance that it may have been translated over to the 3DS in the form of Hey Pikmin as things developed. Especially if they were trying to increase the Wii U sales, they went for something a little more generic and 2D platformery. It was soon after, on January 5th, 2015, that Miyamoto mentioned Pikmin 4 by name, saying Pikmin 4 was being developed. A small thing, and certainly not a mainstream advertisement, but it was enough to rile up fans with all sorts of hopes and dreams. All that was left to do for now was excitedly come up with further ideas to improve the series and flesh it out. Come the 7th of September, Miyamoto in an exclusive interview claimed that it was actually close to completion. A whole 4 years ago from now. Some Nintendo representatives also spoke, saying that they can confirm that Pikmin 4 is in development, but that is all that they can confirm at present. Though some have speculated that the title was simply a placeholder for the 4th Pikmin game, again, Hey Pikmin. It may have also been some kind of translation error. These were the only straws Pikmin fans had to grasp at, and even then, these tiny little details came into conflict. Jumping ahead to July 7th, 2016, Miyamoto was reminded on the lack of news for Pikmin 4, to which he said, "We're working on Pikmin 4. When we're in development, we have to create a list of priorities, and it has been hard to kind of fit that into the list, but we're hoping to start seeing that on the list now." Meaning, development is still going, but not yet ready for marketing. Perhaps also suggesting some kind of development issues to get things actually going, but again, this is all speculation, as once again, it's just all we've got to go on. And soon enough, the Wii U's library was confirmed to be at an end, suggesting if Pikmin 4 is continuing, then it will have moved to another console. And in September of 2016, Hey Pikmin was announced, already almost 3 years ago, leading many more to be confused if this has been the Pikmin 4 talk all along. In December of 2016, during a Soho Apple Store event, Miyamoto explained that Pikmin isn't as popular as he thinks it should be, and expressed how he wanted to work harder on it. His exact words were, "I always wanted Fox McCloud to be a bit more popular than he is, but I think one more would be Pikmin, so I think these two I'll need to put more energy into." Again here, maybe translating it into a 2D platformer was an attempt to make it more popular and generic. And as a final thing, potentially clearing up the Hey Pikmin confusion, at E3 2017, when prompted, Miyamoto stated, "I've been told not to say anything about this from PR, but I can tell you it's progressing. We can confirm that Pikmin 4 is in development, but that is all we can confirm at present." That was the last piece of news we heard, a solid 2 years ago. Since then, nothing. From way back in 2015, it seems this game has been in a limbo of work, and yet never at a stage good enough to show any visuals for. And with all this Nintendo news sprouting at this E3, maybe this is the final nail in the coffin. Following this game has been a wild goose chase, and there is such limited information about this game that there's a good chance that maybe it's just not happening full stop at this point. We know that Pikmin is already not as popular as wanted, and presumably the release of Hey Pikmin only worked to hammer down on it more, but perhaps with this project just being an early passion project of Miyamoto's, the higher-ups decided to put the banhammer down onto it. The series was simply not up to scratch, and the delays are remnants of that too. Perhaps with all this news from Nintendo and yet another E3 without even a pip of Pikmin content, not even a teaser, not a title, not even a logo, this could be the final quiet and cruel end to the Pikmin series. We've been waiting for this game for so long. It's been over 1,600 days already, guys, and still not a single frame of work shown. No one's been asking Miyamoto these questions anymore, and even if they did, he still probably couldn't say anything anymore. Perhaps he was told to quieten down, to not raise these kind of hopes for a project that's so on thin ice. I think that there's a solid chance that all of this silence finally confirms that Pikmin 4 as a mainline Pikmin sequel is cancelled. We may get a port of Pikmin 3 if we're lucky, maybe a Pikmin 1 remaster if we're spoiled, a trilogy Switch release in our greatest dreams, but the continuation of this series is a seriously uphill battle. The fans, though vocal, are few. The genre has issues, and recent releases simply aren't showing enough demand. It is simply a passion project of Miyamoto's that perhaps Nintendo just doesn't want to invest the money onto anymore. Maybe Pikmin 4 is finally cancelled. And in my mind, there is only really one final chance Pikmin 4 has. Pikmin 3 was released in 2013. Hey Pikmin came out in 2017. It was a harsh 4-year gap, but it's not as bad as 9. If Pikmin truly has a single scrap of hope for a 4th mainline game, then at the very least it'll release under the logic that Hey Pikmin was the exact halfway mark. 2021 is the final potential deadline, because Pikmin will not survive another 9-year break. It was lucky to return in the first place. But if Hey Pikmin was truly the filler piece between the two games, then that is our final hope. With a 2021 release date, then the absolute final place for Pikmin 4 to even be hinted at has to be at the Nintendo Direct for E3 2020. That is Pikmin's final resting place, and that is where our last hopes must lie. It's not anywhere near guaranteed, but it's the best option we've got. But tell me, what are your thoughts on Pikmin 4? Is it cancelled? Do you think it's finally time for us to throw in the towel on our hopes and dreams? I mean, it's been so long. There's been all sorts of wild speculative ideas about a new reveal. I even heard one about the Smash commercial suggesting Pikmin comes after Animal Crossing, but do you have any other crazy theories of your own? Because I think at this point, I have lost the expectation of ever seeing a Pikmin 4 game anytime soon. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts too. Obviously, this E3 has been one of the best directs we've ever seen, but I guess to me, and most of us, it'll never truly be perfect until our favourite little Pick carrots make an appearance as well. But we'll see. It's a shame, but with everything keeping us entertained with Nintendo, I can't exactly say I'm disappointed this year. Let's just go enjoy everything else Nintendo has got in store for us. For now, my name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit.